The animal of the day, April 10th, is the bearded vulture or the binomial name Gypaetus barbatus. Type: bird of prey. Diet class: scavenger. Average lifespan: 20 to 25 years. Size: 3.1 to 4.1 feet or 1 to 1.3 meters in body length. Wingspan: 7.5 to 9.2 feet or 2.3 to 2.8 meters. Weight: 10 to 17.2 pounds or 4.5 to 7.8 kilograms. Population status currently the 10th of April 2025, near threatened. Population estimate: 1,675 to 6,700 mature individuals. Native lands: Eurasia and Africa. Primary habitat: mountainous high-altitude regions. Main predators: golden eagles, ravens, snow leopards, and other mountainous carnivores for eggs and chicks. Diel activity: diurnal. Species age: approximately 2 to 5 million years old. Collective noun: a kettle. Notes: the bearded vulture, also known as the lammergeier or the ossifrage, is a very large bird of prey and is the only member of its genus. Traditionally considered an Old World vulture, the bearded vulture actually forms a separate minor lineage of Accipitridae together with the Egyptian vulture, its closest relative. The bearded vulture was formally described in 1758 by Swedish naturalist Carl Linnaeus in the 10th edition of his Systema Naturae. The bearded vulture contains the subspecies G.B. barbatus, which lives in southern Europe and northwestern Africa to northeast China through the Himalayas, and G.B. meridionalis, which resides in southwest Arabia and northeast, east, and South Africa. In Eurasia, bearded vultures found around the Himalayas tend to be slightly larger than those from other mountain ranges, and females also tend to be slightly larger than males. The bearded vulture has long, narrow wings with the wing chord measuring to be 28.1 to 35.8 inches or 71.4 to 91 centimeters long, and their wedge-shaped tail measures 16.8 to 20.5 inches or 42.7 to 52.1 centimeters in length. Unlike most vultures, the bearded vulture does not have a bald head and it is relatively small, but the neck is powerful and thick. The bearded vulture generally has an elongated, slender shape, sometimes appearing bulkier due to often being hunched. The bearded vulture has a dark gray, rusty, and whitish coloration, and more so gray-blue to gray-black dorsally, with a creamy-colored forehead contrasting against a black band across the eyes and lores and bristles under the chin like a beard, hence the name. The bearded vulture has variably orange or rust plumage on their head, breast, and leg feathers, but this coloration is thought to come from dust bathing or rubbing iron-rich mud on its body, which would make them one of the only birds known to dye themselves using environmental materials. The bearded vulture is sparsely distributed across a vast range, occurring in mountainous regions such as the Pyrenees, the Alps, the Arabian Peninsula, the Caucasus region, the Zagros and Alborz Mountains in Iran, the Khoi Baba in Bamiyan, Afghanistan, the Altai Mountains, the Himalayas, Ladakh in northern India, and in western and central China. The bearded vulture also resides in Africa, living in the Atlas Mountains, the Ethiopian highlands, and south from Sudan to northeastern DRC, central Kenya, and northern Tanzania, including an isolated population in the Drakensberg in South Africa. The bearded vulture has also been reintroduced to several places in Spain, such as the Sierras de Cazorla, Segura, and Las Villas Yen, the province of Castellón, and Asturias as well. The bearded vulture is a scavenger, feeding mostly on carrion, with its diet comprising of 93% mammals, 6% birds, and 1% reptiles, with medium-sized ungulates forming a large part of their diet. Although the bearded vulture is more specifically an osteophyte, meaning that it consumes bones, and it specifically avoids the actual meat and typically lives on 85 to 90% bones, including bone marrow, making it the only living bird species to be specialized in consuming bones, with meat and skin only making up a small part of their diet. although it is a much larger food component for chicks. The bearded vulture can swallow whole or bite through brittle bones up to the size of a lamb's femur, and its powerful digestive system quickly dissolves large pieces. The bearded vulture favorably consumes fattier and more elongated bones like the tarsal bones and tibias, since they contain more levels of oleic acid, which is highly nutritional for the bird when compared with tinier bones. The bearded vulture has learned to crack bones too large to be swallowed by carrying them in flight to a height of 160 to 490 feet, or 48.8 to 150 meters above the ground, and then dropping them onto rocks below, smashing the bone into smaller pieces and exposing the marrow. The bearded vulture is able to fly with bones up to 3.9 inches or 10 centimeters in diameter and a weight of over 8.8 pounds or 4 kilograms, nearly equal to their own weight. Though less frequently, the bearded vulture has also been observed trying to break bones, usually of medium size, by hammering them with their bill directly onto rocks while perched. During the breeding season, the bearded vulture will mainly feed on carrion, preferably the limbs of sheep and other small mammals, and they will carry the food to the nest, which is unlike other vultures, which regurgitate food for their young. Bearded vultures will sometimes attack live prey, perhaps at a greater regularity than other vultures, with tortoises appearing to be favored depending on the local abundance, and it will prey on tortoises nearly as heavy as the vulture. To kill the tortoise, the bearded vulture will fly with the tortoise to some height and drop them to crack open the bulky reptile's hard shell. This is done with other live animals that have been observed to be seized predaciously and then dropped from flight, such as rock hyraces, hares, marmots, and in one case a 24-inch or 61-centimeter-long monitor lizard. Larger animals have been known to be attacked by bearded vultures, such as ibexes, caprigoats, chamois, and steenbok, with these animals being killed by being surprised by the vulture and being battered with their wings until the victim falls off precipitous rocky edges to their death. Although some killings were accidental when both organisms surprised each other, there have been anecdotal reports of humans being killed by the bearded vultures in the same way, but these are unconfirmed. But even if it does occur, most biologists who have studied these birds generally agree that it would be accidental on the part of the vulture. The acid concentration in the bearded vulture's stomach has been estimated to be a pH of about 1, with large bones being digested in about 24 hours, aided by slow mixing or churning of the stomach content. Every day is a new animal, so subscribe for more.